thought for today is, I live my life with no regrets. It's one of the benefits of not being able to remember things. Well, the saints had no regrets. Every sacrifice they made for love of God and love of others is rewarded for all eternity. Today, November 1st, the Solemnity of All Saints, we honor all the holy men and women and young people who are now in heaven, those who are canonized and those who are not yet canonized. So today is such a great feast day, and every year the Church gives us the Beatitudes to look at in the light of the saints, because the Beatitudes were really the roadmap that the saints walked, the roadmap that helped them to get to heaven. When we look at these very briefly, we see how the saints live these 8 virtues. These virtues are humility, sorrow for sin, meekness, holiness, mercy, purity, being a peacemaker, and living a life of courage. Those are the 8 virtues that are summarized in the Beatitudes. Jesus says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." If you read the lives of the saints, you'll see that they were poor in spirit, which meant that they were detached from the things of this world so they could be more attached to the things of God. It's really spiritual childhood, complete trust and dependence upon God. Think of the life of Saint Therese, the little flower, who was so childlike in her love of God, again, being detached from earthly things to be more attached to the things of God. Jesus says, "Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted." Many of the saints mourned their past life of sinfulness. If you read the Confessions of St. Augustine, he mourned not loving God earlier in his life. Or if you read the life of St. Margaret of Cortona, who lived an immoral life in the beginning, she became a great saint. There is a saying that every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. So we're called to mourn for our sins, so we have contrition for our sins, go to confession so God can change us and make us saints. Then he says, "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." Meekness is strength under control. The meekness means gentleness. Think of all the great saints over the years, of St. John Vianney sitting in the confessional for 14 hours a day. These great saints were so meek in their way of life. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for holiness, for they shall be satisfied. If you read the lives of the saints, they all wanted to become saints. They wanted to love God with all their heart, soul, strength, and mind, and love their neighbor as their self. They hungered and thirsted, not for food or drink, but for holiness. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall be shown mercy. Think of all the saints who lived lives of mercy. A Mother Teresa, who picked out people out of the gutter and for 50 years took care of the poorest of the poor and the sickest of the sick. Mother Teresa, beautiful example of doing works of mercy. Or St. Vincent de Paul, that blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Think of St. Maria Goretti, or Dominic Savio, or the early women martyrs of the church, St. Agnes, St. Lucy, St. Agatha, Perpetua, Felicity, all known for their purity of heart. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Think of St. Francis of Assisi, "Lord, make me a channel of your peace." So be a peacemaker in your marriage, in your home, in your neighborhood, in our world today. And then the last Beatitudes, blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness. Really, when you read the lives of the saints, they were persecuted. All the martyrs suffered for their faith. For example, St. John Paul II was shot. You have St. Anthony Mary Claret, the founder of the Claretians. When he was in Cuba as bishop, there were 14 assassination attempts on his life. He was persecuted for the sake of righteousness. And number 8, blessed are those when you're reviled and persecuted and uttered all kinds of things against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. Again, think of the life of St. Faustina or Padre Pio, who were suffered persecution, and yet they persevered to the end, and now they are great saints in heaven. So I encourage you today, meditate upon the Beatitudes, these 8 virtues, and ask the saints to intercede for us, that we too may develop these virtues by God's grace: humility, sorrow for sin, meekness, a desire for holiness, showing mercy to others, living a life of purity, being a peacemaker, and showing courage, because these are the roadmap to the kingdom of heaven.